Good afternoon and a warm welcome to the next keynote session of Scotland's Can Do Innovation Summit. My name is Susie Mitchell, Programme Director for Glasgow City of Science and Innovation, and I am absolutely delighted to be in conversation now with Dyan Finkhousen, a leading strategist, entrepreneur, and indeed global authority on transforming enterprise operations with platform-enabled ecosystems. Dyan is the founder and CEO of Shoshin and is known for her strategic work in enterprise-scale ecosystems that leverage open innovation as well as collaboration, crowdsourcing, and freelance resourcing. Dyan is also a partner and COO of the Platform Strategy Institute, which is a Boston-based firm helping organizations achieve greater success with platform business models. Before Shoshin Dyan was GE's Global Director of Open Innovation and Advanced Manufacturing and founder of GE Genius Link and GE Fuse. Indeed, this work has provided a lot of inspiration for many of Scotland's major open innovation programmes. And our pioneering work in connected vehicles, connected equipment, and now connected experts has enabled organisations worldwide to optimise performance and, crucially, to elevate the human experience. So transformational times call for transformational change. And in this 30-minute session, Dyan will talk about how ecosystem design and orchestration can invert a firm and lead to more dynamic, connected, and resilient business models. From the pandemic fallout, climate issues and Brexit, there has never been a more critical time for business to be prepared, to be bold, and to operate in creative new ways to unlock exponential performance. Dyan, hello, a warm welcome from Glasgow. Thank you so much for agreeing to be part of Scotland's National Innovation Summit. It's an honour to have you involved this year. So yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Susie.
Welcome also to our delegates joining us today from Scotland, the UK and beyond. We hope you have a really informative and valuable day. So without further ado, I will move on to our discussion points, if I may. So the pandemic, of course, one of the greatest challenges the global economy has faced, and the ripple effects, unfortunately, will be felt for years to come. And sadly, I guess the evidence, Dyan, would suggest that smaller businesses have been disproportionately impacted by COVID-19 disruptions. But with that in mind, what do you think, Dyan, are the key issues facing businesses after our experiences of 2020, and how should those businesses be planning for resilience and growth as we move forward?
Great question, Susie. It's such an interesting and exciting time. First, thank you again for having me, and I'm just so honored to be here and participate in the conversation. So this is just a really a renaissance moment for many of us globally. COVID has created a really punctuated environment for global business and the subject matter experts that underpin the economy. COVID has really articulated and eliminated fragility in our global economy and many of the organizational operating systems, but it's also illuminated a tremendous landscape of opportunity that we can all kind of embrace. But navigating to that opportunity landscape, it really requires some perspective and a thoughtful approach. Really, if we step back and look at 2020, the COVID event really affected markets literally 6 times faster than the previous down cycle that we saw with the financial crisis in 2008 and 9. A recent McKinsey report really evaluated the economic impact and the organizational impact, and COVID was just a really stark event that we all had to react to together. And it really shown up in a very deep global recession, affecting, as you rightly noted, Susie, it has affected disproportionately many of our small businesses and some of our more vulnerable members of our global economy. Mm-hmm. And so resilience and growth, I think if we can all embrace resilience and growth as kind of the rallying cry for 2021, that's a good start to the year. Yeah. And really an honorable kind of mission for us to kind of embrace globally as a kind of a collective community as we kind of lean into 2021. Resilience and growth is really it's not necessarily something that that was missing for organizations before COVID, but is certainly a necessity for success in a post-pandemic environment.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess you're saying there's a lot to consider, but actually there are potentially tremendous opportunities to, you know, for businesses to emerge stronger from this.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that in order to make those kind of stark changes, there has to be a kind of mindset across the business to enable that change.
Yes, absolutely. Really, what we see as the kind of the emerging cadre of resilient organizations, there is really a playbook that you can really begin to form your decisions and your organizational behaviors around this playbook in order to build greater resilience and a focus on growth in your organization. But if the organizations that are focusing mostly on a balanced portfolio of margin improvement, revenue growth, and optionality. Optionality is very important to improve resilience and growth. That a balanced approach to margin improvement, revenue improvement, and optionality will help organizations weather any storm, whether it's just rapid and volatile change or these gray swan or black swan moments in the marketplace. A balanced approach to revenue, margin, and optionality will help organizations weather those storms a little bit more effectively in any environment.
Yeah. And so you've mentioned resilience a few times there. So I guess we all know what resilience means, but what does it mean for business? What is business resilience, and what are some of the key things that you think that companies can do now to increase their resilience over time?
Yeah, absolutely. So resilience, if we just break it down for an organization, resilience is fundamentally a more thoughtful and dynamic approach to risk management. And organizations, I think, have learned that coming out of this event, this moment, we all need to take a more proactive approach to scenario planning, right? Anticipating the potential vulnerabilities in our operating modalities and trying to anticipate both systemic or acute events that could increase the threat landscape for our organizations. So dynamic risk management and a more distributed knowledge management system, which supports a more distributed communication system and a more distributed decision-making system that allows greater responsiveness and awareness at the edge of the organization. So kind of centralized command and control operations tend to react more slowly in environments of great change or volatility than do organizations that have better information and communication systems, distributed communication systems, and delegated authority systems. So having a stronger and more proactive connected tissue within your operating system is very helpful for organizations. And then back to your question, Susie, just very specifically, breaking down kind of how you can construct a more resilient organization. Investing in resilient strategy, resilient operations, and resilient thinking. You mentioned this earlier. Mindset is so important in order to establish a resilient culture. You have to build trust and awareness and communications, strong communications in your organization, so that you can kind of react and invest in sense making quickly and collaboratively in the event that external shocks or volatile events occur to cause a reaction or a pivot in the marketplace.
Yeah. And presumably, I guess, an unprecedented event or shock like COVID has almost exposed, I imagine, sort of small and larger companies, inadequate sort of crisis management planning, I guess. And so would you concur that, any business and SME entrepreneurs and others really that feel that maybe they didn't build adequate resilience prior to COVID-19, now is the time to kind of build on those sort of resilience plans for now, but for the medium and sort of longer terms too?
Yes, absolutely. A great point. And the one silver lining to this event is that we've all gone through this together, and so we've all had to adjust and adapt and collaborate to kind of navigate this event. But it has been, I think, a good checkpoint for all of us. To your point, Susie, to step back and assess how we can be more responsive and proactive for in better position for future events, of this nature. I think a lot of organizations should be thinking about putting a kind of a response center or a response playbook in place so that they can respond, they can sense, respond, recover, and thrive more quickly. Kind of compressing the sense making and the kind of the replanning timeline that they may have to undertake in additional future shocks. But now is the time to put those plans and resources in place.
Yeah. That's really, really helpful. Thank you. So I guess kind of moving on a little to the benefits of, I guess, innovation empowered sort of business. How, given your vast experience, how do you think organizations should approach innovation, and how can innovation sort of help them to thrive? I guess a couple of things that I was sort of thinking about in relation to that, in relation to your response. I guess importantly, there's the sort of technological aspect of innovation, but also kind of the non-tech approaches to innovation, and also in the current circumstances that we find ourselves in. How do firms prioritize innovation in times of crisis? Should innovation and recovery, I guess, go hand in hand in that regard?
Yeah, innovation is just a necessity in all situations, and particularly in scenarios where a change is a constant, change is volatile. And particularly in these acute and more pronounced events where organizations have to react and reassess and kind of redirect. Innovation is an absolutely essential core competency and investment for organizations, not only to improve their resilience and growth, but really just to build the muscle that is required in order to be successful in the digital era. The pace and vector of change in the markets today are the markets require that organizations are constantly learning and constantly reinventing and improving and refining, and the innovation DNA is what will position an organization for greater success in that environment. I think we probably collectively were a little bit complicit prior to this event, where we were a lot of organizations were focused on the kind of the quarterly reviews and the fiscal returns, and would often sacrifice short-term innovation or long-term innovation for short-term returns and performance gains, and that really over time will compromise the robust nature of an organization, the health of an organization. Mm-hmm. Organizations need to maintain a focus on the long-term innovation portfolio, as well as short-term financial performance in order to sustain success and health in the digital era. It's a balance that needs to be maintained by organizations in order to succeed and serve their markets and shareholders well.
Yeah. So would you agree then that there needs to be a balance between, I guess, the sort of tech-empowered sort of businesses and adoption of emerging technologies to kind of support, the development of kind of robust business models, but also, I guess, going back to that mindset and sort of cultural aspect, also, I guess, being the catalyst to adding that sort of, well, if you want to put it this way, explosive potential to help firms to kind of evolve and prosper and sort of scale in these times.
Yes, this is a really exciting time in markets and in business. We're seeing this, to your point, explosive growth in a lot of the platform businesses that have emerged over the past 5 years.
Yeah,
and that trend will continue. The ability to really create an exponential performance profile and exponential reach and value for markets. With the delivery model that is now known as that platform-enabled ecosystem operation, right? And really, the platform-enabled ecosystem model, it just allows an organization to dramatically increase its reach and increase the intellectual and operating capacity of its operations by reaching out into the resources and the solutions that are available in its ecosystem. Yeah. A very thoughtful approach that is connected with this digital tissue, the platform or network of platforms that underpin these operations and communications and solution delivery. Just really creates this exciting potential for disruptive market value. Yeah. And innovation is really at the heart of that, right? That innovation takes form in the business model innovation. It takes form in product and service innovation, and it becomes the core, really the core fabric of these types of business models. So innovation is open. It's networked. It can be proprietary, but it is necessarily reaching into and leveraging the expertise and the solution set available in a broader ecosystem of partners. So, innovation is at the heart of this explosive growth we're seeing in markets today.
Yeah, we touched on this earlier that now is a good time, I guess, for business to strive for and achieve, I guess, this sort of adaptive change and rethinking or resetting, I guess, existing systems or legacy systems and assumptions that might be impacting performance. So in your mind, Dyan, how should organizations approach sort of rethinking their systems and operating models, and what would be a good kind of roadmap, sort of practical roadmap for that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great white page moment for all of us. We can step back from all of our legacy assumptions that have governed the way we have organized our business operations historically, and we can step back. And the way we really should be thinking about organizing our business and activating our business is digital first, flex second, and third, and most importantly, is, what is that core set of full-time resources, on-book resources that that are the most strategic assets of our operations. But really, organizations should be stepping back and now constantly reviewing what, of the business priorities, what of those operations can be executed with digital means. Yeah. And then of the priorities that remain, that require a human touch, what of those operations can be executed with the help of a broader ecosystem of subject matter experts, whether those experts are individuals or businesses, what operations can be executed with the help of the ecosystem. And then last, what set of core strategic full-time resources do I need on book in order to execute the most strategic elements of my operations? So digital first, flex second, and then the full-time strategic layer of resources that I need absolutely on book to guide and govern this operation.
Yeah. So it's I guess in conclusion, it's a good time for companies to just reassess and just try and I guess sort of unlock value that they may not have even realized that they had by kind of just adapting their models, systems, digital platforms, and I guess underpinned again by sort of mindset, and presumably the mindset bit has to come first before the methodology changes.
It does. It absolutely does. It's mindset before methodology, but it's absolutely a mandate in this market environment. And I think my business partners at the Platform Strategy Institute, Jeff Parker and Marshall Van Alstine, authored the Platform Revolution, and they really articulated the model very well. It's they referred to it as the inverted firm, right? Yeah. It's a much more collaborative business environment today. We should be approaching business opportunities with a mindset of abundance and collaboration versus a mindset of kind of a zero-sum game mindset, or kind of a more closed mindset that we see kind of in the business models of the past. Today's business model is very much about inverting that firm, collaborating, building an ecosystem of complements and partners where you share this sense of purpose, an alignment of vision, and a strong complement of skills and expertise and solutions that can serve markets better, more effectively, and in a much more expeditious way. It's a really exciting time to be in business.
Absolutely, absolutely. I guess it's small to medium-sized enterprises that really underpin the Scottish economy and I guess our innovation economy. But what do you feel are the current, given what you've talked about, the current and future opportunities for SMEs on a national and a global stage, and how can those companies position themselves for success now?
Yeah, this is such an exciting time for small and medium-sized businesses. It is a daunting time with the COVID specter kind of looming over us. But really, if you're a small to medium-sized business right now, you should be looking at your kind of the large incumbent organizations, right? Your brothers in the economy and sisters in the economy, and realizing that those large organizations are struggling with the pace of change in markets, the pace of consumer expectations, market expectations, and they really need to partner with small to medium-sized businesses. That partnership between large organizations and small to mid-sized business is absolutely necessary in order to best serve the agility requirements that markets expect today. And so it's a tremendous opportunity for small and mid-sized businesses to evaluate where those partnership opportunities are best served, and reach out and approach those large incumbents and strike up a partnership to help kind of both organizations be more successful. And so that's opportunity number one. Opportunity number two, it's basically the same market phenomenon. The large incumbent organizations are in many times pacing in a more deliberate fashion than the small to medium sized businesses, which creates in many opportunities kind of a void where small to medium sized businesses can move to markets more quickly and capture white space in markets more quickly and build a presence where large to mid-sized organizations really aren't quick enough to realize. So it's outpaced to capture the white space is a great second opportunity for small to mid-sized businesses.
And I guess kind of linked to that, you know, we find ourselves now in 2021. What practical steps can SMEs take now to prepare themselves for the remainder of this year and beyond?
Yes, it's you know, really for small to mid-sized businesses, you know, the key is to balance the portfolio. Really, it's important to the two market opportunities that I just articulated, the white space opportunity and the ecosystem opportunity are critical elements of the portfolio, and you want a balanced portfolio as a small to mid-sized business. So I would invest in both of those strategies, and really, if a small to mid-sized business, it really can't ignore the need to continue to reinvest in the skills portfolio. So skills portfolio and capabilities portfolio diversification and reinvestment is absolutely essential. So keeping an eye on that horizon of kind of emerging opportunities. I would implement kind of digital listening systems where you can keep an eye on corporate futures. Keep an eye on, you know, where there might be clusters of patent activity, inventions and intentions. Publishing patent activity can signal corporate futures and where corporates are moving, and that can signal tremendous, you know, growth opportunities for small and mid-sized business. So if you start to see clusters of publishing and patent activity in areas, you know, AI is a great example. That can perhaps signal an area. If you're in data science, you might want to beef up your capabilities portfolio in adjacent areas so that you can get ahead of those emerging market needs. You know, investing in a balanced portfolio, investing in capabilities, refreshing and keeping a digital listening system in place so you can see where corporate futures might be signaling they're heading, so that you can stay ahead of those market opportunities.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Good practical advice. We must come to a close now, but thank you, Dyan. Thank you for your time, for your comprehensive yet practical sort of knowledge and insight into how, I guess, platforms, business models, ecosystems can result in more robust business models that can aid recovery and resilience from these shocks that we're facing. It's clear that businesses that want to thrive and need to thrive and survive in these volatile times must transform themselves. They have to become more agile, more resilient to disruption, and open to adopting, I guess, new technologies. And all of that will hopefully improve business performance and create value for both the business and the community that it serves. And we talked a lot about mindset. I think having the right mindset and the energy to plan for these exponential kind of outcomes is really needed to creatively find ways to solving the challenges that we're facing. Okay, I'll bring the session to a close. Thanks again to our keynote speaker, Dyan Finkhousen, and to all of you for joining the session. It remains for me to wish you a good rest of Summit, and thank you very much for your participation. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.